Alright, we're going to play Reigns, a kind of Tinder-like card game from Devolver Digital. I'll just give you a brief overview of the layout here. So on the top left there, you've got 0 years in power. Basically, the whole aim of the game is to try and have the longest reign as king as possible. You've got 4 symbols in the middle there. So you've got like a crucifix, which is indicative of your religious influence. You've got a person there, which is kind of like your population, the whole overview of your kingdom. You've got a sword there, which is kind of like your army and your military personnel. And you've got the money sign there, which is basically like the amount of treasure you've got in your keep. You've also got a point score there on the top right, and basically you just go through a series of cards. So this one here just tells you the balm is expensive but it's good protection to avoid famine and people's unrest, and basically you just flick through and just hope for the best. And as you say, you get little dots above the actual symbols, and what this basically means there is that it can have an impact both either positively or negatively on that particular attribute. And when either the actual the line goes right to the bottom or right to the top on either of those symbols, that's going to mean instant game over. So you have to try and strike a balance between all 4. So you can notice I make some decisions in this which kind of, you know, may seem a bit odd, but it's more to kind of protect the particular instance from going all the way down. You can see my currency is actually rock bottom now, so I'm going to have to be very careful about how I spend going forward. So we're just going to have a little bit of fun with this going through the cards, so here we go. You keep ignoring my advice. Do you trust me, my lord? Yes, I do, Mr. Farrington.
Your people are eating too much. They are fat and lazy. You should raise the price of bread.
Yeah, we're going to double it. So we obviously there we've increased the currency, and that's obviously helped that go up. But the person popular has obviously gone down as a result because they've got to pay more taxes. So these are kind of little things you've just got to watch about. Every card is going to have a positive and a negative effect on each symbol. So that's the interesting thing about the game. And as you go through, you do get more and more cards. You meet more and more characters. And the interesting thing about this is when you let your reign go ahead, you actually get different deaths. So your king, for instance, could be killed by pagans or heretics, or it could be killed by gluttony. Now, there's all kinds of different things that happen based on how your rule has gone, and you know what actually was the thing that kind of tipped you over the edge and made you lose. A foreign merchant is selling new farming tools. We should copy his ways. We should attack the kingdom to the south. They're growing stronger every day.
My king, I am with child. I will give you a son. This is my duty.
Oh, hey, finally. I'm not that bothered. So it's kind of fun, you know, you have a little bit of fun with the reactions and the responses to this, and also you meet the characters, you can have a bit of fun with them. And but as you say, as you go through the game, and you also at the bottom there, you can actually see that you've got symbols and ways to protect you. So as you noticed at the beginning, there was kind of like the barn where you've got to protect against famine. That instance is effective throughout your entire reign and this entire turn, which means you can't be affected by famine throughout the entire time, but you can also be affected by other things instead. So different attributes inquire different things. So that's a pretty cool feature with reigns that you don't find with many other games. So yeah, you can see I've got a bastard son now, and that's going to be interesting. A great fire is destroying your castle, my lord. So you save the treasure or save the garrison, and again that can have a negative impact either way. You also get kind of little achievements that pop up there. So I've survived at least 20 years now, which means that, you know, and what you actually get as well with that is a timeline. So you get your longest reigning king dependent on how long you've gone, but you can also, like, they're all related, a bit like Rogue Legacy, when you kind of like you're all related to each other, but you've each kind of like learned the lessons from each other. And also you get cards that pop up during one reign that can then impact you in later reigns. So for instance, you meet the devil in one reign, you can actually meet them again in 666 years. So it does follow a strict timeline, and it's all to do with your family and relations. You also learn fencing and sword fighting here. I'm actually doing that now. I'm kind of training. I've actually learned a new move by defeating just in the sparring session. And what you do with like the training is you actually enter like caves and caverns, and you have to kind of either save a princess from a dragon, or you have to go and find some loot and treasure, and you basically fight against skeletons and all types of different things. So there's lots of different ways that the game can play out. But you also have like little games as well. So there's like a dice game you can play, and you can learn how to get to grips with someone. Or there's actually a gambling session which you can do. You actually saw then I actually died from gluttony, which is kind of a fun thing to do. with this. So yeah, as you can see, the timeline is just stretching across, and you can find a bit more about what I did during that time period. There's all the different cards and things, and all the high scores I've had, all the royal deeds, and it's just a really fun, entertaining game. It's really cheap on Steam. It's about $1.99. I feel it's a bit of a better mobile game because it sort of suits touch a bit more than a mouse pointer, but either way, it's a fantastic, fun game to play. It's some switch off fun you can just dive in and out of, and I'd highly recommend Reigns. See you next time.